Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video has been long awaited. I have said I'm going to do this video for so long and I just haven't got around to filming it. Finally, I've actually written some notes and I've sat down and we are ready to talk about my Open University, studying, I guess. I have my notebook down here, so if I'm looking down here, I'm just looking at my notes so that I don't get too rambly. Apologies if this video is not for everyone, I just thought it would be really interesting and helpful for those people that maybe are looking, searching to find these kind of videos, because I know I was when I was looking into the Open University. So, first question, what is the Open University? The Open University is just like any normal uni, any brick uni, and I'm going to use the term brick uni a lot in this video. I basically just mean any normal university that you would go to. So say Oxford and Cambridge, they are brick unis. Whereas the Open University is very different because you are sort of in charge of your studying. Basically you study from home is what it is. So you don't go into a uni to attend lectures, you just do all your studying from home. They do a whole range of different courses. They do degrees, which is what I'm doing. I'm doing a bachelor, an honours degree. I can't think of the correct term. I'll write it on the screen if I can find it. But I am doing a degree in business management currently. I've just finished my first year studying with the Open University, and I've already enrolled for my second year modules, which are starting in October. So they do the degrees, but they also do some other courses. I'm not entirely sure what they are, what sort of level they are at. Maybe they do foundation stuff. I don't quite know because obviously I am not studying that, but if I will leave a link to the website down below, and if you go on there you can see everything that they have to offer. I chose to study with the Open Uni because it seemed like the right option for me. So a little bit of a backstory. I finished high school at 16, I think it was 15 actually because I've got a late birthday, but I finished high school 15, 16. In year 11 I left with all A's and B's in my GCSEs. I did really well. I was really proud of myself, my parents were proud. And then I went off to sixth form. I was doing my A-levels, I did law, business and English, and I just didn't quite enjoy sixth form as much as I thought I would. So when it came to the end of my first year, I sat my exams. I did my, I got my AS levels, which was your first year exams. I know they do things differently. I think you do all your exams at the end of the year, at the end of your 2 years at sixth form. But a couple of years ago, you do exams at the end of year 1 and exams at the end of year 2. After getting my results back for my AS exams, I didn't do too badly. I passed them all, but I didn't do as well as I expected in my favourite subject, which was law. I got an E, which you might be thinking, oh, an E is a fail, but at A-level, an E is still a pass. It's an F that's a fail, so anything above an F is still a pass. It's just, obviously, it's not great. Long story short, I was so disappointed because it was my favourite subject. It was the subject I revised the most for, but I don't know what happened. I just got a bad grade and I was so disappointed in myself because I've never been that person. I've always been an academic person, and I've never, like I said, in my GCSEs I got all A's and B's and I was so happy with that. I'm not saying if you got an E in your A-levels that you did bad, I'm not saying that. It's just for my standards of myself, not standards, but for my expectations of myself, I thought I was going to do better and I wanted to do better than that. When it came to going back to sixth form for my second year, I was just so unmotivated. I didn't want to get out of bed. I think I went in twice. I'm not even joking. I went in for 2 days, and then I just had enough. I was working full time over the summer, so I quit college and I carried on working full time for probably a year and a half after I left college, and then I applied for the Open University. So basically, I am studying with the Open University because, one, I don't have the grades to get into a brick uni because I only have my AS level exam. I struggle with anxiety. That's a whole other video. I'm not going to talk about that in this video because it's a very long story. It was really bad when I was in high school, but it's not so bad now but the thought of having to go back to education is like a big trigger for me. It's, like I said, it's a long story. If anybody wants to hear that story, I'm more than happy to tell it, just not in this video because it's not really relevant, but I will just say that I had anxiety, and going back into like an education environment was a trigger of mine. After being like away from college, like, and not in education for like a year and a half, it was very scary for me, like the thought of just like going back to either college or uni. So basically my mum suggested that I have a look on this website, the Open Uni, and see if there's anything that I wanted to do, because I was thinking about getting back into education, but like I said, I was like really anxious about it and I didn't really want to physically go back. I will say one thing, I am not saying, before I get into like the bulk of this video, I'm not saying drop out of college and do the Open University instead. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling my story, like that's what I did, and I didn't drop out of college to go to the Open Uni, like it wasn't like that. It was just I dropped out of college, and then a year and a half down the line I came across this and I thought it was an amazing opportunity. I have always just worked really well like on my own. I am the kind of person that can just sit and like study or revise just alone. So those are like the main reasons why I chose to study with the Open Uni. So once I decided I wanted to study business management, I then basically went through the application process, which is so easy. You basically just fill out an online form, just like your name, address, basic application form like that. It wasn't anything too stressful. I don't think I actually said this, but you don't need any specific qualifications to study with the Open University, which is like why I was saying, like, I don't have the qualifications to study at a brick uni, but I'm eligible to study at the Open Uni. I applied online, I applied for the first like modules that I wanted to do, and then it was a case of like deciding how I was going to fund my studying. So with a brick uni, you would usually like fund it with a student loan. At least that's what like all my friends that have gone to uni have done. They've all had student loans, because I think it's like £9 a year just for your course, and then if you're moving away it's even more. I think the majority of students here in the UK do fund their degrees through a student loan, and that is exactly what I have done for my studying. So you can get a student loan with the Open University, it's a part-time one, so it's like you don't get £9 given to you, it just covers like your course fees basically. I can't remember the exact figures because it's a while ago since I've worked it out, but I feel like I remember I was going to owe like 18 grand, which is still a hell of a lot of money, I know, I'm aware of that, but it is not as much as you will be paying going to a normal uni, because if you're paying £9 a year, that's at least 27 grand, and then you've also got like your maintenance loans and like other things. It was proved that was fine. You can also you can pay for it up front if you wanted to, like if you can do that, then you do that, that's great. You can also, I feel like there's like a bursary or something. I think you can also like schedule payments, so you can pay like monthly, stuff like that. There's many different options. Like I said, if you look on the website, they have like a whole like section of like how you can fund it. But for me, the student loan was like the best option. Then you just wait for your first module to start. So mine started January 2016, because some modules start in October, some start in January. So I started in January just because I applied for it in like October and I didn't want to wait like a whole year to start, so I started in January. You will get like your books through the post sort of like a month before your course starts. At least that's how it's been for me, and I've done 3 modules now for my first year, and every time I got my books like a month before, which is really helpful because you get to sort of like look at your course material before it even starts, before like you have any deadlines or anything like that. So you can at least like get a feel for like what you'll be learning. What I did is I think I read like the first book, because for my first module I had a set of like 7 books, I think it was, and they were quite like thin books, like they weren't like massive books. So it had like 150 to 200 pages in each. So I read like the first book before the course started, and then as soon as it started I was like, I knew like the content of that book, so it kind of put me like a head start, I guess. So the way it works, obviously, because you're studying from home, you are mostly studying from your books that they send you, or at least that's the way it is for my course. I don't know like how it is for like creative subjects like art and stuff. It'll probably be a bit different. I don't know, you just have to look into the content, but I can only speak from like my experience. So they send out all the books you need for the course, which are included in the fee, in like your course fees, by the way. You don't have to pay extra for them. Then you start studying basically. You need to read all your like material like in the books and stuff, and then they also have like an online portal or platform, whatever you want to call it. They sort of like plan it out week by week, so it will have like a set guide, like on this week you should read this chapter, on this week you should read this chapter, you should do this question. So it is all set out for you, but you don't have to stick to that timetable. So for me, I always tried to stay ahead of it, because then if something cropped up and I couldn't study like one week, then I wouldn't fall too far behind, or I wouldn't fall behind at all. I'd just be like still on time, I guess, or on schedule. But that is completely up to you. It depends on like your work schedule, your family life, everything like that. The whole point of like the Open Uni is that you can fit it around your life, like your life schedule. You don't have to like change your life. You don't have to stop working so that you can go to uni full time. You can carry on doing your full-time job, and you can study part-time like in the evenings. And I feel like that's a big thing, like a big factor as to why a lot of people choose to study with the Open Uni. Obviously I was working full-time, and then when I decided to apply for this, I was still working full-time. Like I didn't have to give up my job, I didn't have to cut my hours down. I fit my studying around my life, so around my job. Having that flexibility is just so good, it's so helpful. I'm in some Facebook groups that are to do with like my modules. They're not official groups, but like students do make Facebook groups, and you can join them and you can chat and you can like help each other and stuff like that. I know a lot of people that are in those groups are either parents, and they are like, say like a stay-at-home mum, she's looking after the kids, and then when her kids go to bed, she can do her studying in the evening. It's just like the most practical and efficient way of like studying and gaining qualifications, I think anyway. If you have the motivation to do it, to sit down and do your work, then I think it's such a good way of doing what you want and like being able to progress in like your career or getting a completely new job. As far as workload goes, it's completely like, it depends on you. Like obviously because I work, I only study part-time. You can study full-time with the Open University, but it's not recommended for many people, unless I suppose you like stay at home and you don't work, you don't have kids, anything like that. I suppose go ahead, you could study with them full-time. For me, like I said, I just work around work. I study whenever I can really. I'm not studying at the moment. I finished my first year back in May. It's now the end of July probably by the time you see this video. You do have a tutor for each module that you can contact if you need to. If you have any issues or you want to ask a question, you can contact them. There's also forums on the Open University website you can ask other students. They also do run tutorials, so these happen in two ways. They have face-to-face tutorials where you go to like a uni that's quite local to you, and you can meet your tutor face-to-face. You can meet the other students that are on your module in your area. I have not been to any of those because it's just not for me. Like the whole point I wanted to study with the Open University is so I don't have to go into a uni. But if you are doing it for the fact that you want to study around work and you know you don't mind, you want to go and meet your tutor, you want to ask questions in person, then that's completely up to you. The option's open for you. If you are like me and you don't want to attend those tutorials, you can do the online tutorials. They basically, it's like a live stream kind of thing, but they just sort of will go through like slideshows, and sometimes they have like interactive like activities where you can like share your opinion. So it's usually like a tutor is speaking over like the slides and talking through them, and then sometimes they ask for input from students, in which case you can turn your mic on and speak if you want to. Like I don't, because I don't want to do that, I'm too shy, but other students do, and if you wanted to do that then that's completely fine. There is that aspect of like communication between you and your tutor, like they are there if you need help, so you're not completely alone. And obviously you can ask friends and family if you have anybody that might be experienced in whatever you're studying. The next point I've got written down is how is your work assessed. So basically in my modules so far, it's all been assessed through like coursework. So they're called TMAs, which is a tutor marked assignment, and then on my last module we had an EMA, which is an end of module assignment or assessment, whichever one. So TMAs are just basically just essays that you have to write. So you have like a set question or questions, and you have to answer those and like present it like properly, and you have to do all like the usual uni stuff like referencing, everything like that. And then it's just, you do that on your computer, and then you like send it off on the online portal. Your tutor will mark it and usually send it back. It's like a couple of weeks they have to mark it, and then you will get like your results back online as well, usually through email. The end of module assessments, it's the same sort of thing. It's like an essay, but it's based on like the whole of your module, whereas the TMAs are sort of assessed on like, say like chapters of the module, so like parts of the module that you're doing. I know for some modules you may have an exam to do, in which case I believe they take place at like a local uni. I have not had to have any exams yet, and I don't have any upcoming this year, I don't think, but there may be. I feel like I've looked ahead and there may be like one exam that I have in my last year or something like that, but I'm gonna like cross that bridge when I come to it, because I'm not too happy about having to go in for an exam, but yeah, I'll just have to deal with that at the time. So yes, back to my studying, I guess. I have recently just finished my first year, like I said. One thing I will say is if you do study with the Open University and you're doing it part-time, it will take longer for you to finish your degree than it will if you are doing it full-time at Brick Uni. So obviously, usually your basic degree is done in 3 years. So first year, second year, third year. It takes longer because you're doing it part-time and you do it from home, so you're doing like less credits at a time. So I started my first year January 2016, like I said, and I've just finished my first year in May 2017. So it's taken me nearly a year and a half to do my first year at uni, like my first academic year, I guess. For me, like I said, it's not really an issue. Like, I much prefer to work at like a slower pace, and it just works for me. Like, I just think it's so good, and I just really wanted to make this video because I have mentioned it in other videos, and a couple of people have been interested and have asked to like hear more about it. So I really hope this video has given some sort of information. I'm going to leave this video here because I've been rambling on for half an hour and I don't want this video to be way too long. Some people, if you've like come across this video by searching for the Open Uni stuff, then thanks for stopping by my channel. If you are already subscribed, then thanks for watching. I hope you got a bit more of an insight into like my life, I guess. I'm just simply making this video because a couple of people have asked for it, and I also want to share like my experience because, like I said, when I was looking into starting with the Open University, I was searching for videos like this, and there wasn't many around. Like, there is a couple of people here on YouTube that talk about it, but there isn't loads. Yes, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I will either reply to you in the comments, or if I get enough questions, I could do like a Q&A based on my uni experience. I will leave the link to the Open Uni website down below. You can get loads more information on there. I've just spoke about my experience. I'm going to end it here. So thank you all so much for watching, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye!